Heather Maples was a young, beautiful woman, full of energy and dreams. She had just begun her college journey, was settling into her job, and her future seemed wide open with promise. Her smile and laughter were incredibly contagious. She was always talking, radiating warmth and energy that lifted everyone around her.
I am really sorry that I didn't send you anything yesterday. And I hope you slept good and that we can talk soon.
Everything changed on August 7th, 2015, when Heather did not show up for work. Her cold body was found in her messy apartment, wearing only a crop top and no underwear. She was lying on the bed, half naked. It was a truly horrifying tragedy. The question we ask ourselves is, what kind of cruel person could mercilessly take Heather Maples' life? What the investigators found in that small apartment that day shocked and stunned even the most seasoned officers. The detectives faced an extremely difficult investigation. There were no clear traces, Heather had no enemies, and the motive was completely unclear. If not for one tiny detail, Heather Maples' case might have remained forever in the shadows, and her cold-blooded killer would still be freely walking outside the law.
This is the most important conversation you had in your life. The only way your bloody fingerprint got there is your hand's bloody. And you had your hands on her while you were raping her.
On a weekday morning, like any other at the real estate company in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Kelsey Price, Heather's coworker and close friend, arrived at the office as usual. Heather often slept in and was frequently late, so her not being on time was nothing unusual. Kelsey called to wake Heather up for work, but Heather did not answer. The night before, Heather had gone to a bar with friends and had told Kelsey, "If I cannot get up tomorrow, come over and wake me, okay?" The two young women lived in the same apartment complex, just a short distance from work, so Kelsey was not too worried and ran over to Heather's place. The front door was unlocked. Kelsey pushed it open and stepped inside, seeing her friend lying face down on the bed, wearing only a crop top and no underwear. Thinking Heather had simply partied too hard the night before, Kelsey shook her and playfully slapped her leg to wake her up. Heather's leg was ice cold, making Kelsey scream in fear. She bolted outside and quickly called 911. Police arrived almost immediately. Detective Tommy Massey was one of the first people at the scene. The forensic team swept through every corner of the messy apartment, collecting evidence. Heather had been brutally beaten, tortured, raped, and murdered. Even more horrifying, her hair was soaked in blood, with blood spatter all over the walls. Detective Massey and his colleagues would later refer to this case as the worst nightmare of our careers. Heather Nicole Maples was born on August 23, 1992 in Ocala, Florida. Her mother jokingly called her the child of the storm because of Heather's energetic, strong-willed personality. In 2004, Heather's mother gave birth to her younger brother Ryan, who had severe developmental delays. From 7th grade onward, Heather spent nearly all her free time caring for him, teaching him to speak, walk, and eat. She loved her little brother unconditionally. At 22 years old, Heather decided to leave Texas and move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to study and build her future. Encouraged by an old classmate named Chaz, she started a new life and prepared to enroll in a psychology program. At first, she and Chaz were simply close platonic friends, but feelings quickly developed and they began dating. With Kelsey's help, Heather got a job right in the same apartment complex where the two women lived. Everything seemed to be going wonderfully until her relationship with Chaz fell apart, mainly because of his quick temper and violent behavior. When they broke up, an angry Chaz moved out. In early August 2015, Heather happily called her mother with good news. She had been accepted into the university she had always dreamed of. 1 week later, a horrifying tragedy struck. She was murdered. Her apartment door showed no signs of being forced or broken, so the person who killed Heather was very likely someone she knew and had willingly led inside. The key pieces of evidence that investigators collected were a strand of hair that did not belong to the victim, Mamble, unknown DNA, and most importantly, an extremely clear bloody fingerprint on the right side of the bed frame. Detective Massey said, "Even if someone had deliberately dipped their finger in ink and pressed it down, it still could not have been that clear." Heather's phone was locked. Kelsey was the one who helped unlock it and also the one who called Heather's mother with the news, believing that hearing it from someone close would hurt a little less. At first, all suspicion fell on Heather's ex-boyfriend, Chaz. He was known to be hot-tempered and extremely violent, so it was very possible that he had assaulted Heather and killed her. But soon, another man appeared, Michael. Michael tried to cross the crime scene tape to get into the apartment because he still had a key to Heather's place.
How do you know Heather?
I met her at the bar.
This is going to be rude, but I got to ask it because that sometimes details are important, sometimes they're not. The first night you met her, did you have sex with her?
I did not. I've never had any contact other than a hug. I've never even kissed her.
So you've never had sex with her?
That's ever.
Okay.
Michael explained, on the evening of August 6th, Heather had invited him over for dinner. After that, Heather went to the bar by herself.
She called me at 11:40.
So 11:40 she calls you?
Yes. And she tells me that I need to come to the bar. She really needs me right now. There's people hitting on her and she's really upset. I was like, okay, I'll be there.
At around 11:40 p.m., Heather called Michael, asking for help because a guy named Octavio was sexually harassing her and threatening to force himself on her. Michael came to pick her up, took Heather home.
She orders biscuit, gravy, eggs, 2 eggs, sausage. And we sat. She was done. I drove her to her and dropped her in. She walked up the stairs and she was like,
At about 2:30 in the morning on August 7th, unlocked the door for her because she was wearing a dress without pockets, and then he held on to her key and forgot to give it back. Footage from the bar's cameras and data from Heather's phone fully confirmed Michael's story. His DNA and fingerprints did not match the evidence, so Michael was removed from the list of suspects. Next, the police focused on a man named Octavio, the one who had harassed Heather at the bar that night. On Heather's phone, there was a text message she had sent to Octavio in the early morning hours, inviting him over to her place.
What can you tell me about him?
I don't know a whole lot about him. He seems like a very nice guy. He's funny.
You got any idea why she would send you a picture of her and Octavio, why that's a big deal?
I think she thinks they're pretty good friends.
Okay.
Octavio stated that yes, the two of them had drunk tequila together that afternoon and taken a selfie.
What did you do yesterday afternoon?
I went and hung out with Heather. We drank some tequila, and then we went to gyms for a while.
Okay, and who is Heather?
A friend of mine.
I'll show you a picture, okay? Do you have any idea when that would have been taken?
It was a little bit before we left to go to gyms.
Who took that picture?
She took it.
Do you know if it was posted or sent to anybody?
It was on Snapchat.
But he had gone home early to sleep and only saw her message the next morning.
Well, if Heather says that you came back over after she got home, would we believe that not to be true?
Yeah, I didn't show back up over there. And Heather texted me at like 2:30 or something.
"Can I see the text?"
Yeah, but I was already asleep. I saw it this morning.
The detectives intensified their questioning of Octavio, using a tough interrogation method that not every suspect could withstand.
People saw you go in the apartment. Phone records put you at the apartment. You were with her yesterday. Your picture was with her, okay? Because here's what I'm going to tell you at this point, Tate. I believe she texted you to come back over there. You went over there, and then something happened.
No.
And not only was this girl raped, she's dead.
What? No way.
This way, okay? And here's what I'm going to tell you. There's DNA all over that girl. It's going to come back, I believe, to one Mr. Tate.
Oh, don't come back to me.
Octavio immediately agreed to provide a DNA sample, and the results cleared him as well. The investigation was now almost completely stalled. The police could not find any more evidence or viable suspects. Then, unexpectedly, a stroke of luck arrived. The lab called Detective Tommy Massey. The bloody fingerprint belonged to Brandon Richmond Bowling, whose prints were already in the system because he had once worked for a company that required employee fingerprinting. He was immediately summoned by the police for questioning. In the interrogation room, Brandon Bowling stammered nervously, his voice hesitant as he claimed,
How do you know Heather?
We met at Jim's.
Do you know when that was?
Maybe 3 from us.
He had only seen Heather a few times at the gym, and they had hooked up 1 or 2 times, the last time being in July, and he had never gone back to that apartment since. Knowing he was in serious trouble, Brandon Bowling kept pushing back and denying the crimes he had committed against Heather Maples.
Ever been to her apartment?
I have been to her apartment.
The times you had gone over there, did she have to let you in, or was the door unlocked, or do you remember?
So I think she usually left her door unlocked, so.
Let me ask you this, have you ever been sexually intimate with her?
The first night, no, second night. Second time
You hooked up with her?
yeah, we did.
When was the last time you were at her apartment?
That might have been in July.
The detectives put him under intense pressure.
You know you were there, you know what happened. So now you need to tell me so that I can understand.
I don't know I was there. I don't know I was there. That's the thing.
Okay, well then how did your bloody fingerprint get on the bed?
There's no way I did anything. She got accepted in college. I was happy for her.
But Brandon Bowling stubbornly resisted and continued to deny the horrific acts he had inflicted on Heather Maples.
Look at me, young man, because this is important. They can put you to death. Do you understand? Okay. Because this is the most important conversation you had in your life. The only way your bloody fingerprint got there is your hand's bloody. And you had your hands on her while you were raping her. So then tell me what happened.
The police requested a warrant to search his phone, convinced that it would contain crucial clues. What they found on Brandon's phone was something even the most seasoned detectives were horrified by. A long video that he himself had recorded in Heather's room. That lengthy video captured everything, from the moment Brandon Bowling entered Heather Maples' apartment and had sexual intercourse with her, to the moment he violently beat and tortured Heather while she was still alive. This was the unspeakable crime of a cold-blooded killer, something that could never be forgiven. Poor Heather Maples had to endure unimaginable pain and terror before she was murdered. In February 2018, after the monstrous, inhumane crime he committed against Heather Maples, Brandon Richmond Bowling pled guilty in court. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison without parole. For those who loved Heather, this was not a victory. It was a wound that could never heal, a pain they would carry for the rest of their lives. At the trial, Heather's mother, Jennifer Hunter, surprised everyone when she said, "I forgive Brandon Bowling for killing my daughter."
I forgive Brandon Bowling for killing my daughter. From that day forward, I learned, don't worry about anything and pray about everything.
But for Jennifer Hunter, her daughter will always live in her heart and never disappear. At the end of the trial, Jennifer walked over to Brandon's mother in the hallway, embraced her, and said, "Today, both of us lost a child." She added that she was deeply saddened by all they had gone through.
I wanted to be sure that she and I connected because they are victims too. They are. They didn't plan this. They had hopes for their child. Our lives since she's been gone have been awful. We miss her terribly. She was our everything. Like I said, she is our first thought in the morning and our last thought at night. There's not a day that goes by that Heather's name is not mentioned in our home. And that is how it will be forever.
As for Brandon Bowling, the killer is now behind bars and 4 walls, but he has never explained why he killed Heather Maples or what his motive was. Let Heather's story be a powerful reminder that justice only exists when each of us raises our voice. No one deserves to have their future stolen the way she did, and no one who commits such crimes should be allowed to stand outside the light of the law. For Heather, and for all the other silent victims, let us join hands to protect one another's safety, spread compassion, and firmly reject violence in every form. Thank you for listening.